Zoink, Scoobs. I don't know. Well, it's eerie, but I don't think it's spooky. It's definitely true though. It's a real life story though. Anyway, so now we have to go find scarecrows on this little adventure we were on. Anywho, so back in Jesus. Autumn, get down. Give me a second. She touched a teacup and like scared herself, and when she gets scared she like backtracks in a chaotic manner that breaks things. Anyways, so back in the year 2007, my mom used to travel for work, and so I'd have to stay at a friend's house. This friend lived 2 doors down from me, so we didn't have to arrange like we didn't have to get notes for buses or anything. Like I just went over there, I stayed over there, and if I needed anything I could just run back home. It was really nice. However, I had been friends with her since we were like 4 years old. No, it may have been 2008. Anyways, we've been friends for a little bit now. And so I figured I was like, what's the worst that could happen? Like staying over at a friend's house, we could stay up late playing video games, study together, hang out together, do stupid stuff together. It's gonna be whatever. It's gonna be a sleepover. And so the first night, nothing weird happens, a very normal night. And I'm like, cool, having a great time. Second night comes by, and my friend like lightly mentioned something about her grandpa. And like, my thought was like, oh yeah, her grandpa is like, oh, yeah, he lives like on the other side of town or something is what I'd known. And so freaking, we're vibing, whatever. And we're like, oh yeah, we gotta go to bed. We have to get up early. It's like, we have exams tomorrow. It's like, whatever. I go to sleep. And I wake up, I kid you not, at 3 a.m. to hearing. And that was the day I realized I needed to make some life changes. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I wake you? And there's nobody in the room. I am alone in this room, hearing someone tell me a story. I am wide awake hearing the story. And I freak out, and the door flies open, slams shut, and that was it. And so I decided, I was like, I'm gonna die with this experience. I was like, I don't want to know what that was. I'm kidding. I did ask a few questions the following morning. I didn't want to know what that was at 3 a.m. So I decided I'm gonna try to get some sleep. So I got tests in the morning. It's like, this is not the worst thing to happen. And so I wake up the following morning, and I said, so is there like someone in your house? Like, was someone awake last night, like talking on the phone at like 3 a.m.? And she literally looked at me. She's like, at 3 a.m.? Like the witching hour? And I said, yeah, at 3 a.m. the witching hour. Oh, give me a second. I'm gonna do this conversation, then I'll pick up the story. But, talk. Just cause. Ad break, apparently. I found some lookies stuck in a log pile. You have, young witch. We're all now here. Our thanks to you, a friend most dear. I got 100 raspberries. Are there many of you? We once were many more. In bark and root and leaf, but over time man did turn away from our belief. Elder Lut, secrets of our, dude, oh my gosh, I saw this thing, I was like, oh yeah, I was like, let's just make vomit sounds, so just secrets of our kind were lost, our kind were crushed and burned. Now we few are all that's left, when lessons go unlearned. Crushed and burned, that sounds awful. Sad affair it is indeed. We are no common stump. but those who see not what we are, into a wood pile dump. Blech. If you see one of my kind destined for the fire, I beg you please pull us out and save us from the pyre. Anywho, so I asked her about her grandpa, like if anyone's awake or whatnot. And she like said like 3 a.m. like the witching hour. I was like, yeah. She's like, no, I think that was my grandpa. I'm like, but your grandpa lives across town. She's like, no, my grandpa died 10 years ago. And I said, what? She's like, I never met my grandpa. I was like, but you know so much about him. She's like, yeah, I know a lot about him. I talk to him quite often. And I said, you're just okay with this? She's like, yeah. She's like, I tried not to tell my mom about it. And then that was the end of the conversation. I was like, okay, whatever. I was like, okay, I met her grandpa. Apparently, I met her mother freaking dead grandpa, and he was telling me a story while I was sleeping. He was trying to lull me to bed, lull me to sleep with a story while I was already asleep. So I decided I was gonna die with that story until like a few years later. So 5 years passed. Thank you. I can only tell great stories if I'm involved though. So 5 years passed, and my mom is house sitting for them, and she's like, I'll be right back. I was like, I have to go check on their cat. Is like clean the cat boxes, like make sure their plants are watered. I'll be right back, sweetie. I'm like, okay, perfect, mom. 5 minutes later, she comes sprinting in, flings the door open, slams the door shut. She's sitting there, she's panicking, freaking out, hyperventilating. I'm like sitting there. I was like, what's up? She's like, I heard a man's voice. I'm like, oh, was he telling you a story? And she looked at me. She's, what? And now I realized I'm equally as sane as that household. I'm like, oh, was he telling us the story? She's like, I thought it was her alarm system. I was like, no, the alarm system has a female voice. She's like, I know that now. So who has a male voice? I'm like, her grandpa. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, her grandpa. She's like, he's dead though. I'm like, yeah, he died 15 years ago at this point in time. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, their house is haunted. Did you not know this? And I'm saying this as if she's the idiot here, where I'm just being like, oh yeah, our house is definitely haunted. And she's like, what do you mean? And apparently, so she's like, I walked into their house, unlocked the door, disabled their alarm system, and the woman said, thank you so much, good night, and shut off. And then I heard someone talking upstairs, going, yeah, I realized that the war really wasn't much for me back then. He's like, I really wish I'd learned that sooner. Maybe I would have lived a lot longer. And then I re-enabled the security system and I turned around and left. And nobody told my mom the house was haunted. So I immediately called up my friend's mom and I was like, hey, so-and-so, can you please confirm something for me? And does your father live in your house? And she said, oh yeah, he lived with us in our old house. That was his house before me. And then when we moved, he moved with us. And to this day, he's still in that house. They have moved. They moved away 7 years ago now. He's still in that house. I've met the new owners and they have complained about a man telling